in a way that everybody stays calm. I have my Jesus. A lot about
Well,
that.
that's
I have
right.
no,
That's
I have
I
no,
have to do
not,
it that way. Otherwise, yeah, I
I
have to
have
do
no
it that way.
patience
Otherwise,
for that.
yeah, otherwise the Newark in me is going to come out. The Newark is a town very famous for, for bad neighborhoods. That's where I grew up. Otherwise, you know,
Yeah.
the bad words will come out. So I try to keep it nice and neat.
Yeah. To be honest, I was really I don't know, erstaunt,
Astounded.
surprised, yeah, that
Yeah.
when Dave told us that he has the co-writer with Trevor, the co-writing with Trevor, and that he still wants us as in the title and all this, and up to now I do not really understand this combination and the because in some way we are competitives or however, you know what I mean, and I don't know this, how you understand me.
Yeah. It's
If
weird.
you write a book about Watergate and you have Nixon being the co-writer, what could go wrong?
Right. Right. That's true. At the end of the day, he even states it that after Commodore UK went under, there were people who weren't paid. You know, his division went under, people weren't paid. So I don't know. Perhaps he can actually be fair and impartial, but he's already stated publicly that he doesn't like Petro at all, and
Yeah.
he wants nothing to do with Petro. So
Okay. I'm really I don't know what will comes out of this book in the end.
Right.
I like Dave a lot. He's a really great guy. But this combination with Trevor, I'm not sure about it. To be sure, to be honest.
Have you met Trevor before?
I haven't met anybody really. The only person I've met, maybe a Amiga scene celebrity that you might know, is Amiga Bill.
Okay.
I don't know if you all are familiar with Amiga Bill. So he's he's up the road from me in New York. So, and he's done, of course, the vampire videos that we saw. The last time I met with him, we had a good gathering at his parents' house. We brought out all his Amigas, and I brought the V4. And so people in the United States here had the opportunity to use the V4. And the first impression I got from everyone is that this is not buggy at all. So that's one of the things maybe we could address, is that a lot of folks, a lot of the misinformation out there is that the V4 or vampires in general are buggy. And the biggest takeaway from folks that use it, their first contact with the vampire, was that it was stable, stable in many respects more than expanded Amigas they might have had before with, say, an 040 or an 060 or even certain 030 cards. So that was great feedback to have, that people says, like, I'm trying to find defects with this, and I know how to find the defects. I didn't tell them how to find them, but they weren't able to find any, so it was pretty interesting to see the reaction.
Hey,
Igor.
Igor.
Oh,
Yeah.
Basta, Bruder.
Master Blaster.
Finally.
Igor, nice to see you. Great that you make it happen to be here.
It's nice to see your sailing. Aaron.
Hallo, dober dan.
Hi, Ronnie.
Mr. Ronnie.
Hey.
Hello. Is there
Flight
much
is
echo
here.
from my side this time?
Mr. Fly.
Mr. Fly, do you hear me?
No.
Bonjour.
No? Okay. Some minutes, please.
Ja, 5 nach 8 van.
Ronnie, how's life, Bruder?
Hectic. It's really hectic at the moment. I hope this week finally is quiet.
T'as pas vu ma cigarette électronique?
Let us start with a toast.
Yeah.
My beer doesn't taste so good. I don't know what something's wrong with it.
Contact. Oh. Kontaktspray.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Mine is better.
Okay, maybe I can start with a little bit of
Schön, dass alle da seid.
information. Everybody there? Who's missing?
Me.
Okay,
I will mute my micro because.
great to see you all together today. I hope we can have this more often and see us regularly. This would be nice. I'm not sure if everybody follows everything in the team, so maybe I can give a little wrap up of a few things which happened recently. Jens did finish new version of the
I don't have what, Mike? What?
What? He has no mic. Okay.
No, he has no sound. Hört uns nicht.
Okay.
Was soll man ihm schreiben?
Who's Jens? Jens was with us as a 34 and Jens, show your face. Where are you?
Hi, one moment, I have not enough light here.
Okay. Jens made a rework of the V4, fixed some minor issues, some small improvements. We all recall that the header for the real-time clock is a little bit close to the edge, so which makes gives a little bit of a there's not much space between the real-time clock and the casing, and also on the V4s which we shipped so far, I had to hand solder some resistors on the backside manually because they were missing on the PCB. So there are a few like those small things which got improved by Jens, and also the biggest visual change to the user is that the new revision will have 2 USB ports on the front. So we will have a USB port for the mouse and a dedicated USB port for a joystick, USB joystick. And I expect to have the first PCBs in 2 or 3 days, and we'll then start with Bene, which you all recall from Amiga 34 soon, the bring up next week. So this is a plan.
So V4 production is running on and on.
Not as fast as we should do it, but as fast as we can. And this little facelift will hopefully make production of the boards a little bit easier because I have one less step to hand solder. Okay. Maybe I can say a little bit about AROS or AROS. I really think that the distribution which Kotta does maintain looks really good and it's nice and it's a great foundation. And I think it would be a nice idea if we officially relabel it to give it the name Apollo OS, to make it very clear that this is the OS we support and it's free, and I think this would be a nice combination. Maybe we could even make a website for it, like a domain where people can download the latest image and so on, to make clear that we have a certain spot where it is. And thank you, Kotta, for doing all this work and polishing this. Well done. And I hope to see you continue this as a main maintainer to also in future polish this up. I think Ronnie did well with setting up the kernel repository for this. And I think our plan also should there be to relabel AROS as Apollo Earth from now. I have a vision for this, which I like to explain. For me, Amiga OS was always great because it was so clean and so simple and so direct. Yeah, there weren't many layers between what you wanted to do and the hardware. So if the OS needed to question or query a mouse button, it could do this directly with one instruction going to the hardware. And this made understanding the OS easy, and this made the OS slim and also fast. And I think AROS did there something wrong. Obviously, AROS runs on not only Amiga hardware, but also on many different hardware like PC. So they can't simply go the direct way often. So they can't directly talk to the IDE chipset because the PC, of course, has a different IDE chipset than the Amiga. They can't simply talk to the mouse because the mouse, the Amiga mouse, is only in an Amiga or a V4, but it's not on the PC the same. So they always need to add a layer of abstraction, which for simple-minded coders like me makes understanding AROS a lot more complex, because instead of having one instruction there talking to the mouse, you have function calling something, blah, 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 and I get lost there easily. And I also think that this abstraction overhead makes AROS not only slower, but also a lot harder to understand. Like Marlon today said in the this internet discussion, the bug, if you would know where to fix or where to start with the bug, he would have looked into it. But I think these abstractions added to AROS make AROS more difficult to understand and also make it bigger. And of course, also make it longer to compile, take longer to compile. So my vision for Apollo OS is that we start with Ronnie's nice repository now, and that we find a team which feels responsibility, yeah, you know what I mean, for this, to remove part of these abstractions so that AROS becomes more direct and needs less snooping or searching for different hardware, that AROS knows. It runs on a 68 or 80. It knows what the best memcopy routine is. We don't need several memcopy routines for different processors. It knows where to find the mouse. It knows. So everything is more like it was on the real Amiga OS 3, direct going to the hardware. Therefore, slimmer, faster, and also for idiots like me, easier to understand. And I think this will help all of us in the end to compile it quicker and also to fix small bugs easier. And I was hoping that Ronnie could continue his kernel maintenance there and that we could find a team helping him to do this. I was here looking at John, Andre, and Alina. Alina did this SD card thingy. And I spoke to her, and she would be, or he,
whatever.
Well, I think it's a guy who has now a girl's name. Anyway, him.
But a great coder, I think.
Him likes to help, and I think he understands how to compile errors and is really motivated to help. So if we could here establish a team working on the new Apollo OS, this would be great. And I think it would also be cool to honor this with special t-shirts for the team.
That's motivation enough. T-shirt.
Yeah. Or whatever.
I work for the T-shirt.
Especially to be able to remove it.
Oh, you now?
No, not now, not now. Oh my God!
Don't make me do a spit take.
Okay, so I think this would be a really nice vision, right? We would have we have now our own PCBs, we have our own CPU, we have our own chipset, and if we go this way, we will have an Amiga OS compatible free new Amiga OS, which we control, which no one can take away from us, which no lawsuit can kill like We have with Hyperion and Quantum. Who knows what this shit gives, right? And Aros today is a little bit clumsy and a little bit overbloated, and it has all these abstraction shit and code for Intel and code for PowerPC in it. And I think if we throw all this out, clean it up a little bit, we have a great foundation on which we can build something like a free OS3. This is at least my dream. I hope you can share this.
May I continue on that?
Please.
I really like what you said there. I think you're 100% correct, is that the AROS, its goal encompasses too much. It has too much abstraction. It's trying to solve problems that are irrelevant to us. And this really does make it slow. And you can see that the multitasking on AROS is slow. The TCP stack on AROS is slow. The graphics on AROS is slow. And I think when we wind it back, we'll come back to some quite a few common causes that we could remove. And maybe not a bad idea as we look at the driver model and at the multitasking model to see if we can't just simplify that to bring it back to that direct to hardware, that it's so easy to understand. Because you said it's hard to understand. It is absolutely impossible to understand in some places. It is so hidden and confusing behind macros, behind 20 million function calls. And there are 20 files, source files, which could be the one that you need that function is. It's not. And I took a week off to look at the V2 boot problem. I spent 1 week and I couldn't find it. It was so hard. And this is really the biggest problem that I have, is I have maybe sometimes just 4 hours per week. And if I have to go through abstraction layers, you can forget this. This will never work.
So we need to. Yeah.
It's trying to solve too many problems which were not relevant to us. We don't care about x86. And I really think we could probably either go back to a more traditional Amiga driver model that removes some of these abstractions, and we will probably find it much easier. Yeah. I think we'll make much more progress.
Yeah. This is also my view. Great. Excellent.
And I also think we have some great features, hardware features on the V4 and also on the V2 that we could take advantage of in the operating system. And we can't do that with OS3. Even if we were to get the source code, I'm sure it would be contested. There will be another legal battle 5 years from now. This shit will not go away at the end of the current legal battles. We can forget this with AROS. It's ours. We can do what we want with it. Well, it's the AROS's team. But I think there's not a problem that we start off with a common base and slowly we move towards our own version or variant or branch of AROS that is just what we need and not the x86 and all. There's a lot of code in there we could just simply get rid of, and then it would be much simpler to follow.
Will it get faster just by removing that magically?
I don't think so. I think much of I don't know. I have not really done any performance testing on this, but my feeling is that much of the code that's there is not compiled in, so therefore it's not running. When I looked at the IDE stuff, it calls, there's like really low level stuff, which is then feeding back to higher level stuff, which is feeding back to higher level stuff, which is feeding back. And I really had the feeling that there is between the application and the hardware, there's like 4 or 5 layers that I think don't need to be there really. I mean, pulling data from an IDE drive is not that complicated. It doesn't need 5 different layers of functions. You only need that if you have to support 20 different hardware types, 20 different CPUs, and 20 different architectures.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, now also new, which we should talk about, is the work item list, which Tuko installed on this Google spreadsheet thingy. I tried to put in a few work items which are on our to-do list, which I recalled, which we are working on right now. And maybe others can also take a look and fill in stuff they're working on currently.
I will put the link back in the comments.
I think then it also might make sense to talk about V1200. right now, I have no working Amiga 1200 setup at home. So for me, compiling cores and testing is a bit of hunting in the dark. So if someone would like to take this responsibility to help compile cores and immediately test them, this would help Igor, I think.
Hello. Hi, Igor.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Dobro dan.
Dobar dan. I'm sorry, but I wasn't here from the beginning.
Can you hear us, Igor? Master, can you hear me? No.
Yes.
Yes, no.
Okay, I think that we have several topics here. From the first topic regarding our operating system. I keep saying that we are a very small team, and I just don't know how we can do all of the tasks we need to do. And that is only concern I have regarding that. I would like to have our operating system and everything that comes with it, but that is my concern, because, for example, today I spent nearly 8 hours to just test and clean 10 vampire cards. So complete full day was spent on that. And me personally, I'm not sure that I have the time for other things. I don't even have the time to compile properly for 1200 Amiga our core, or to do anything about it, because I'm too busy, and the rest of the team feels the same way with other tasks. So I don't know how we can manage all of this.
It's true. It really takes a long time. But we can, on the GitHub that I set up, I created some instructions for how you can easily download the AROS and compile it. That saves a lot of time. You don't have to learn the build process. But it's true, it really takes a lot of time to get in, to compile everything, copy it to a flash card, put it in your Vampire, run it. Maybe you find a bug, maybe you don't. You go back to compiling, you copy again to the flash card. This process, the logistics of compiling and building and putting it on the flash card, it robs you of about 50% of your time. And then on the other hand, we also don't really have much in the way of tools for debugging. We can put some print statements in, and that helps a lot. But sometimes those print statements influence timing, and sometimes timing is essential to those bugs. I think we just have to accept that it will take some time, and we can move slowly with this. But as Gunnar was saying, if we start to move away from this over-abstracted layer situation that AROS has, this would slowly reduce the amount of effort we have to do to reduce the compile time. But we have to think about this project in terms of years, not weeks. Really, we have to think about it in years. And that slowly, maybe it's just 1 or 2 people at the beginning. You know, Kotter's done a lot of work already. You know, I've contributed some very small parts, but and other people as well. And slowly, as it starts to build up, we will get more and more developers contributing piece by piece. And I think so long as we have our GitHub constructed in a way that it's easy for someone to download everything, find that bug, that code, and fix it, and then submit the fix, that's probably the best we can ask for, that someone can just fix one bug easily.
Yeah. I was also asking Gunnar before, for testing arrows, we need to map the arrows kickstart easily. And from what I remember, the mapping of 1 megabytes kickstart is broken. Maybe Flip can confirm it, or at least for arrows it's broken. Something is bad about it.
Do we mean from V control when we do the V control? When did this break? Because I use this now and it works fine with a 1 meg ROM.
Okay.
Is this new?
I think also Pedro said that it was broken.
The arrows works already 6 weeks on the V2 family. Okay.
Sorry?
The arrows works already in the V2 family 6 weeks now.
Now the question was map roaming with a V control.
That works also.
Okay, never mind.
that works also.
On the problem. This was a quick fix. Thank you.
But it doesn't work with BootSD.
Yeah. BootSD is a problem.
Yeah, no, that's no. There's no.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sure that you understand my point. What I was trying to say regarding too many tasks we are handling right now.
We can't be on multiple topics, each of us, indeed.
This is true. I think we need to focus. This is right. I think we can't, for example, or we shouldn't, for example, try to work on too many different operating systems at the same time. So if we try to split our effort on Atari OS, on Coffin, on testing 3.4 and developing AROS at the same time, this is too much for our manpower. I believe the only hope that we can make some fast progress on the AROS side is if we really focus on this right now. Then we simply, I think, need to do it step by step, right? And if we get our development system easy to use so that part-time coders like me can look into it and just fix a bug, then we will also find more people helping us, or will make the life for them easier. And I think there are a few good guys like Alina also in the scene, which could be very motivated to help if we give them the option. So I think making progress step by step, fixing one bug, another bug, and I'm hoping here to have a release which is better than what we have now, maybe end of next month, August. So if we could brush up Kotta's Apollo OS a little bit, having fix for running the SDL games in it. Alina said she would like to look at this, and also have a few other fixes in it. Then I believe we could hopefully make a release for the OS, for the kernel and the distro next month. And I hope that we in parallel can also make a release for the CPU core. Like I have one item to fix on the AGA, which affects all games which do 64-bit fetches right now. And of course, our combined resolution, which is still work in progress. I like to test another option then in 2 days. Then we can compare and then we can make a educated decision which option of the three we think makes the most sense. And if we then can build a nice core of this, hopefully we have something nice to release next month. So this would be my plan. And after this, we make new releases with more bug fixes and so on, like we always do.
Question: What do you see then as the what's blocking us from releasing it now? Or what issues do you want in particular fixed?
Yeah, I think very ugly right now is this is also an item list that on AROS, the concept of what is the best screen mode to give is a little bit screwed right now. We have this change, I think, since February. Before, AROS was always preferring to give out a chunky screen. Every application asking for opening a screen got a chunky screen. And then we got this priority change, which gives this info again planar screen or REBB, like all those operating system friendly old applications which opened the 4-color screen now get a planar screen. This is good, fixes them. They were broken before, but I was a little bit dumb here. If you ask for a 640 times 480 screen in 256 colors, it gives you a planar screen, which makes SDL games run in planar, which they not expect. So there would need be a different priority logic, which says, okay, this is better in planar or this is better in a chunky screen. And then the SDL games will run again.
Ronnie, did you see this work item list?
Yes, I'm looking at this. It's changing. Aha.
Or is it?
But does anyone understand how this might be fixed? I mean, I don't even really know where we should start on that, or where to even start looking. Maybe someone already has an idea, or someone already has a fix. I've been through a bunch of fixes from Gunnar.
Alina said she made the best mode ID fix already, and he pushed it partly into your repository or something like that. She said to me today. Maybe this covers this, maybe not. If not, we can simply ask. I would like to have her join your team if you like, and work with you very closely on this.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
And I think also very important for us is that Riva goes to pip directly and goes to youth mode. Because right now we have the really ugly indirection over going through badly coded slow AROS routines, and this pip is just a magnitude faster. And Andre volunteered to make this happen. I think this will highly improve the look and feel of the videos that we ship. And I think video playback is a key feature for the Vampire. I mean, everybody wanted video playback and never had it on his Amiga in the old days. And to me, these are the most important fixes which we need to do. Of course, we also need to adjust the IROS driver to the by then new release of the hardware. So if we now make the new fixed resolution, mixed resolution, combined resolution solution, which we are going to test this week and then make a decision, we will have to adapt the AROS driver to this, obviously. Yeah. And if we have done this, I think then we are ready to make a release. Sounds
okay,
good?
that makes sense. I will ask Alina about her fix and bring that in. I merged all of your patches that you gave me, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And unfortunately, Riva now locks up, so I have to find which of these patches causes the problem. I thought originally it was the merge that Marlon did, that he merged our AROS main branch into our branch, and I thought this broke something, but I went back to the old ROM that we had, which we use, and it's also still broken there. So I need to find exactly which of these patches breaks it, and then I can add Alina's patch into that as well. Be making a new release with that.
Cool.
I mean, I'm happy to look at this. Any of these problems. My problem is I don't have a super strong Amiga background. You know, I only came back to Amiga in the last 2 years because of the Vampire, and so I don't have like assembler knowledge and deep chipset knowledge. So I'm happy to do any of the work, but I really get stuck when it gets to assembler or really deep details. So there I need help from people. But for searching for bugs, I can at least start the work, and maybe I need support from people like yourself, Gunnar, or from John, or people. And Flipe has helped me enormously. People who really know the chipset well.
Yeah, I think if you can help to clean the shit, remove the bullshit layers, this will also make it for people like me easier to understand the AROS code.
Okay. So short-term goal is that we get this out by the end of this month with this graphics mode selection fix, the patches you have, and then we look long-term to see if we can start reducing the layers.
Yeah.
Igor, is it clear what Gunnar meant with this several ways or several working next to each other makes no sense? We need a focus on one. You know, much to do, but in the moment where everyone is working like on something and no one goes together. And that was the idea of this Apollo OS, to come to to a better together working on one direction.
Ich glaube, Igor sagt ja.
Sorry. Okay, I was talking to Gunnar some time ago that now when he handles production and everything, there is so little time for other things. And what I'm trying to say is that I'm afraid that we will have too many tasks on our back. So I have no idea how we can work on so many topics at the same time. For example, I would like to help on other topics, but simply I don't have the time. I'm not so good in coding, but sometimes I can help. But right now, what I do, I'm handling the parts. I'm thinking about cardboard boxes and things like that. So right now, several team members are doing separate tasks with maybe different visions about complete situations. So we are not in the same position like we were at the beginning. So somehow we need to unite our work, because situation right now looks like, for me, it is very confusing. For example, when I'm working with somebody, I'm transferring messages all over the place. Sometimes I'm with someone on the some other our old chat system, then on Slack and on the other programs. So we are not even on same place to discuss what we need to do, and that's something that creates additional problems. For me, idea about having our operating system is very good, but at the same time, such ideas create simply it scares me. Such idea, because this is huge task, and I'm not sure we can handle that. And I think that if we work too much on that, and at the end, if we fail, complete project will break. So I don't have.
If we don't have an OS, we're broken already. We can only win if we control the OS, because right now everyone can kill us by not giving us a license.
That's something that I know, but realistically, how possible for a few of us to handle all the things, from designing hardware, making CPU, all kinds of controllers, then operating system, and same time handling production and shipping and testing and support, and that is very scary. For example. For example, today I need to fix one card, for example. So I need to delay all the things I had to do for tonight. So a lot of things we are handling.
Igor, I agree with you. I mean, you can't do all this in parallel. And this is okay. I think it's fully okay if you focus on the production of the V1200 and V500 and so on, right? This is a task more than enough for one guy. So
yes, but can I explain how I feel about this? I want to help more, and I want to help in all different areas of our team's work. But simply, I just want for everyone to understand that I don't have the time. I have the will to do it. Maybe I'm not so good in some areas, but I just want to say that simply there is no time for all of this.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it's no problem. I mean, that's why we are a team, right? Kotta does great work on putting the distribution together. That's great, because then I don't need to do this, and maybe I couldn't even do it as good as he does. And you do the V1200, and that's great. And everyone in the team, I think, can find a place where he can contribute, and together we can make this happen. Hopefully, I'm pretty optimistic that we can get this all solved and all done.
Yes, but there is one problem. Sorry. Can I talk now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
For example, last month we had a situation when I talk about several topics with you. So same time you were working on new operating system, working with me about talking about controller. Then we talk about mediator. So you try to do several things at the same time. So I was doing the same.
Jonas, way to work, Igor.
What?
he is this kind of chaotic working. It's all in parallel in his mind. It's
Yes,
like
I
this.
know. Yes, but eventually that creates problems.
It's also
Maybe
why
I work on too many tasks.
It's also why we did build up that task list, is to focus not only other people but also Gunnar on some tasks.
I think that the main point is that we have to make a plan and to stand to this plan.
Yeah.
If we say we want to make first, I don't know, this, and then release the ROS and a new core for the V4, and then after that a new core for the V1200, then we simply have to stay to that and not going on something else because it's much easy or I don't know why. If we do that, it's possible, but you just have to focus. And what Igor did further, I think it's the first problem that we have to solve. We have to find one thing, one way to communicate all each other. And this is the kind of discussion we have today morning with Flype. I think the people that mostly use the communication medium have to choose it. I mean, if Flype mean I want to go on Discord, then maybe it's the best option. Then we can decide we all go to Discord. But what we have to avoid now is that having many applications to watch, and then the morning, like Igor said, he have to watch something on Slack, then 1 hour later something on ISA. It's pretty shit. We can't work like this. I think the first thing we have to do is to choose one solution and to say, okay, this is the choice of the team. No, we are going there. On this 30, and it's the way to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think, but I think it's the first thing to do now. Otherwise,
Yes,
it will be very difficult to work together.
Yeah.
Then we have to make the list, so to stay to the list that Chico made. And I think if we do that, it's pretty well.
Yes.
That list is just a basic of project management. So I'm quite happy that we have such today, since it's the first time since we started, or at least I joined the team, that I see such lists being really important. We did in the past some such lists, but maybe with Flype or so, but never it came until such importance. So
Yeah.
I'm quite happy that we have that list today. And yeah, I think we should really only look at the first top priority topics and just get into that and put and put energy into that. So we do not get diverted by other topics like improving some, I don't know, branch prediction things, also just to gain some benchmark somewhere.
We have also problems with 1200 because right now I'm not even sure that card is designed well, because I don't know ID controller, will it work for us? And I'm in a very critical situation because I sent already maybe, I don't know, 200 cards to the people, and we don't know will we be able to make such controller. And problem in that area is, again, I will repeat that I don't even have the time to look at it properly. So
I hear you. I think it would help if someone takes a task to work on V1200 cores. That's what we say.
Yes, but the problem in this is that all the time before, when we started, me and you worked on such topics in parallel. For example, you are doing part of the code and I am doing part of the code. Now, because your other task, we don't do it like this anymore, because again, there is no time. And
also, I don't have a working A1200.
Yes, that's our problem for the start. So we need to get you one.
Yeah, but I think I mean Tuko. Hallo. Winke, winke. I think you raised your hand, right? You volunteered right now.
You wanted 1200.
We will have to see, as always. Yeah, we have to see. I think it would be better for you if you can focus on the soldering and don't need to focus on the testing and compiling. And I would help me if I can focus on debugging V4 and not have to compile V1200 at the same time. I don't know if
problem. You see, what is the problem? For example, what if I send 300 cars, because that's many, how many PCBs I had? 300. Yeah. And at some point we see that we can't make ID controller because some reason, something I didn't do properly.
No. The ID controller works, right? You tested it.
Yes, but what if there is a conflict? For example,
no. We know that the IDE controller works. We know that the PCMCIA works. I think we have several options here. My roadmap here would be the following. I think we should now make 2 cores. The most simple solution is that we make 2 cores, one with the latest fixes and improvements and local IDE, one with the latest fixes and improvements and local PCMCIA. Even we could make then a switch, having both enabled, and we use one of the pins on the expansion port and a jumper, and then the user could take a decision. Does he want local IDE? Does he want PCMCIA? And we switch simply between 2 stages in the chip controller. And if we are a little bit smarter, we find a solution to merge the registers in the shipment controller together with the registers on the main board, and we have both working in parallel. But this needs a little bit more debugging. So
yes, I think, but what we do is we override Gale right now at this moment when we enable our ID controller, and that create problems before we don't send the proper signals to PCMCI. So our core don't even see PCMCI because we don't even enable. For example, we have several registers, but bits in them we use only few. In those bits we can try to enable PCMCI. Do you understand?
We need to merge them. If
we already have those registers.
Yes.
In our core.
This is very similar to the interrupt register. The interrupt register, if the CPU reads it, it reads it from the main board. and we magically merge our IDE interrupt bit into it. And
Okay. Okay. So in short, we can do the maybe similar to the situation with micro SD card. Similar. With interrupt control. Do you understand?
Yeah. I just I think we can do this. I think see no risk for a hardware problem which we haven't yet.
I trust you, but you have to understand that I'm a bit
young, and getting out ID is also working. I think make 2 cores, one with IDE and one with PCIe is very simple. Then you can ship your cards with the latest core, not using an older one. And if we do this hack with a jumper, you have jumpers, don't you?
Oh.
Then you
we don't
could
have
even
Gunnar?
Something went wrong.
He's rebooting now.
You scared Gunnar away.
He switched on total mode.
You ask the hard questions. They were too hard for his internet. Yep. Can I ask you, just is your concern more about will the users hit back at you and say, hey, you asshole, you sold me this card with IDE, I don't have IDE? Because
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this for sure can be solved. But from the other perspective, if I think about this as a customer, right now, what are your options for buying an accelerator on the Amiga 1200? They're the 030 accelerators, these crap ones from individual computers. They sell for 480 euros. They're more expensive than your cards by at least 30 euros. And they're less functional, they're less performing. An 060 Blizzard accelerator on eBay goes for a minimum of 500 euros. I paid 600 euros for mine. The Warp 1260 goes for 500 euros, and you must supply your own CPU. I think with that in mind, you can easily defend your position and say, we plan to do this. We offer you an accelerator which is the cheapest, and it also performs the best. It's made with all new hardware. You went through 3 motherboard revisions before you came up with the final design. So in my mind, that means you made a lot of testing. You did a really good job to be sure you had a good design. And I think it's easy to say that in a post that people understand, okay, maybe it didn't work out. If it really is true that we can't have IDE, I think people will forgive you because you're not charging the most and you're delivering at the end the best anyway. But it sounds to me from Gunnar's perspective, this is solvable. And I don't think anyone can blame you.
The Warp guys have exactly the same problem with their card. That means the IDE controller on the Warp card can't be used in the same time as the PCMCIA. You have to choose which one you want to use. The only difference that they have with us is that they have a switch in the config tool to activate or deactivate the onboard IDE. Maybe this is something
we can do the same.
But basically having the same with 2 cores, it's exactly the same solutions that the Warp card have. So I don't see any problem with that, not in the long run, but for now, I think it's totally usable.
We can do this in 1 core. For example, if we make some register, we can turn on or off. That same register can trigger part of our controller, because in the core, when we have a PCMCI enabled, we just uncommented some lines of code.
So I think it's a very good solution.
Yes,
Even,
this is
one question to ask is also if one user wants to switch from one core to the other, what's the use of such switch? I mean, I won't open my 1200 to switch the CF card from one port to the other. I will flash the core that I will use all the time and be happy with it.
Yes,
I don't feel I will use of such switch personally.
You're right. I think you're right.
We just have to provide 2 cores with a flash exe and be done with it.
The only thing that's important is that both cores have to be equal at the same level.
Yeah. I will take that task of bringing all the fixes from the old PC fast IDE core we have to the current level. And try to compare
Can you see me, guys?
compile it.
Am I back?
Yes.
Yes.
You're
Sorry,
back.
Wi-Fi was, I don't know, taking a break or two.
People said that I asked 2 hard questions for you and that your internet connection will break because of that. Okay, I was proposing one thing. For example, if we have a PCMCI enabled in our current core on V1200, for example, we have that part of Gale overlay and identification. We can make just one register to disable those parts. So in single core, we can have option to choose, do we want our ID or do we want PCMCR and Amiga ID?
Right. So we could use a jumper for this, can't we? Couldn't we make a jumper on the expansion port?
We can, because we don't have a jumper. Don't ask me why. It was expensive.
You can buy jumpers, you know. They cost a penny each.
Yes, I know.
But
I don't like them.
Yeah, not forever, just for now. We can say, okay, we short 2 pins with a jumper, and then the user can you flash 1 core. And
okay, we can do it like this. For example, we have expansion header. We can tie 2 wires there and get like a jumper to select. But I was thinking for more professional version with some register we can control by software from operating system. That's such register.
But this, if you want to boot from your IDE, it would be nice if it worked from start.
Yes, I didn't think about that. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, the Tuco suggestion is also very good. I mean, at the end, it's not like every 2 weeks you're changing between onboard IDE and accelerator IDE. You'll pick the core that you want, which is either onboard IDE or on the accelerator IDE, and probably you stick with that for the next 6 months.
Yes.
This is a good start, and maybe people are happy with that. I think it's also the easiest solution, right?
Yeah, right. The fact is, if someone chooses the core without the ability to use the V1200's EDU, this is because he needs the PCMCIA. He suddenly magically don't need this anymore. I mean, he won't switch core once a week just to have another option. Yeah. So I don't think it's worth to spend more time on this. We simply have to bring both core at same level so people can choose the one they need. Until we have an unified solution with the ability to use the internal IDE plus the PCMCIA.
I agree.
We have another problem there. For example, when people see how our ID controller is fast, and it is fast in Amiga terms, and when they see that they need to go back and have 3 times slower controller, that might be the problem.
Well, but as I said, the warped card has exactly the same problems and people don't comply. Okay. They have to choose. If a warp user wants to use the PCMCIA, then he has to turn off the EDU internal plug. So it's exactly the same problem.
Okay.
I mean, if they have this problem, we have the same problem too. There is nobody else on the market that can yet solve this problem. Maybe we will be the first when we bring a core with the ability to work with both.
That's the challenge.
Right now, they have exactly the same problem than us.
Okay.
Sounds to me like a good solution. Easy.
Can I ask you something?
I think it's a good compromise.
Danke, Tuco.
For the users also.
Right?
Gunnar, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Okay. In memory map of Gale, we have another address for external ID controller. So what are the chances to use that space in the future? I mean,
I'm not aware that this is used by the OS at all, to be honest. I think this was like one of those funky ideas of which they had many.
but they left it unused.
Yeah, like for example, our speed register, which we use in IDE, this was planned for the Amiga 4000, but never worked. So there are a few things they planned, but never implemented. But I could be wrong. But I think those implementation details we don't need to solve here, right?
What are our other topics?
Well, I think from my point of view, we cover. We have defined some roles of people doing stuff, and I'm pretty happy for this week. Anyone else he want to do?
I think the question, Stefan said that we have to make a clear decision for Slack or whatever would be necessary.
I think we should decide that now. So the thema is over and we can go forward.
Yeah, I think you're right. For today, it doesn't help us if we use 3 different tools.
Yes.
Yes. There is one more thing there. For example, Amiga people are the people who all the time use the chat like we had before. So like we have it before.
Yeah, but IRC has a lot of disadvantages, right? The Slack thingy has some advantages, and also on IRC we always had the problem that spam bots came and sometimes
yes, but that
visited us, and Collar and friends and other idiots came, and we have a lot more control now with the Slack, and I think the behavior of the people also improved by knowing that they can't so easily make fake accounts.
Yes, but for example, on the our old chat, I could use Amiga on it because I could connect to that, and now I can't. That is the one point I'm trying to make. So everyone could join from old computers. Now they can. For example, I don't even have a mobile phone.
You don't have
there
a
is
mobile
one
phone.
possibility. What Marlon yesterday did with the bridge between Slack and Discord, he can do the same between IRC and Discord. It's possible. That means if we decide to go maybe to Discord, we can leave Slack to the side, and decide people can choose between Discord and IRC. And for us, for team member, everything that we type in Discord come on IRC, and the other way too. This could be a possibility.
Is such thing possible to do?
It's possible. It's already up and running, but not with IRC right now, but with Slack and Discord. But I talked with Marlon, and he said it's totally possible.
Okay, then I don't see any reason why not to do it. We will keep all we had before, and our communication will be better.
I think too.
And is it possible to combine IRC and Slack? Why Discord?
Because Discord is better than Slack. With Discord, you don't have any limitation with the rollback that you can, the latest thing that you wrote.
Yeah, but the rollback is what, 10,000 lines or so. Who cares? Yeah. I don't have the time to roll back more than 10,000 lines anyhow. And I wake up in the morning and you spoke more than 10,000 lines in the night. fuck it. I don't can read it over the day anyhow.
No, that's true. But each time that you want to
That's
list
you,
something,
Gunnar. That's your lifestyle. I often
personally
have
Where
to
are
say,
the advantages for this? I don't understand why changing Slack. We changed from IRC to Slack, and it's not a long time that we did that, or that you had the great idea to open this Slack for the users, and now it becomes, however, the team channel. But changing now once again, I don't understand the sense, to be honest.
I have the same idea as you, but the problem is most team members want to go to Slack, to Discord right now.
And why?
That's
Exactly.
a good question. Ask them.
I think there's a built-in voice feature. Maybe that's easier. It has the same features like Slack, but we could do this whole meeting easily. But I mean, I don't see really a big advantage with Team, what's it called? That other one, Discord.
Yeah. I have honestly the feeling that Discord is better than Slack. Now the question is, do we want to make the move? If we make the move, this has to be the last move, because we can't change platform every month.
Right.
This is not professional, and this is what I say today morning. People will loud, but we have to have a good tool too.
If there were much better items or whatever on this distro, I would say, okay, it's a hard step, but it's okay, we do it. But if you say, it's a feeling, and if you could not say why some team members want to change, I don't understand it, to be honest. Maybe Fleip, you want to change, I think. Can you tell why? Where are the
time
main...
to fly to talk? Yes.
I mean, good Begründungen would be great.
We don't hear you.
Good reasoning.
Press the button.
Le flip.
Did you turn on the microphone on Zoom?
you have the right input source in Zoom?
Okay, that means there is no good...
Case closed.
Okay, we stay at Slack, right?
You have the right to remain silent.
The way I see all this discussion about Discord and stuff is a very good example how the team is not working as team.
Yeah.
You guys understand? Because this was a so simple issue that we could discuss in team and would be a decision from the team. This is a perfect example how the team is not working anymore.
Yes, exactly.
And these little things, they sum together. And in the end, they make the people think twice. And next time, I don't care about. Make your decisions alone. And that's how it works, guys.
This is good point.
If we want to continue to work as a team, then we should learn lessons from this example now. This is not about if I'm against Discord or not. It's not that. It's just the point that it's simple little things like this that make people uncomfortable from the team. Okay.
Yes, this is a good point.
And
It shows it up. It just shows us something. You're right, Kotta.
So maybe the best solution is to make a poll for the team member with a choice, Slack or Discord. And then we choose the one that got the most points.
Paul.
I am the master of Paul.
Paul man.
I'm Paul.
Paul Master. Mr. Paul.
And put ERC.
But
what I will
what
do
about
is
the?
open
I
the
mean,
poll.
Tuco and Stefan, you are the customers, yeah, customer whisperers. What do you to imagine you are a customer and you have been invited and you work in this Slack and there are several customers from the V4. There are a lot. I think about 300 or something.
Mm.
And to bring all them to another channel.
Well, this is
or
basically what I
just a
said
team.
today. Yes.
And then we have to work in for the customers in another channel. That makes no sense. I think to have all in one channel would be great.
Yes.
Or necessary.
This is my opinion too, but.
But how do you think we can switch all the customers? I think this is that we will lose them.
Well, the switch is very easy. We can simply put the invitation link as topic in Slack. Yeah. Then everybody that comes to Slack sees there is a new channel to join, and they will come. And simply that we will feel stupid.
The number of customer we have on Slack is not that big. It's what, 260, I think. We are not speaking about 3,000 people, so better do it today than later.
We have about 265 people now on Slack. Okay.
But we still have about 50 or even more people on ERC.
Yes, that's true. I think the most important thing is not Slack or Discord, but more, did we hold IRC or not? This is most important.
I would remove IRC, honestly. I really like about when you created our Slack channel, I really liked that you were in control of this. And I mean, in IRC, originally, I liked the channel very much. The idea was users help users, we help users. I think we've made then a little something wrong, that we made our own team channel. And in my opinion, we talked way too much in our team channel about God, sport, girls and cars.
Midgets.
And also other important things like new games and other topics. So our presence in the team channel was high, but in the customer channel was very low.
That's true.
And there were only idiots left in the customer channel answering questions and so on, because the good guys were gone. I think this was bad for the customers, right? We didn't monitor what they talk, we didn't give them enough answers, and they didn't witness what we are doing. We were brainstorming all day long in the team channel, how to solve this, how to improve here, what to fix next, what we want to do. All this was so invisible to the users. I think this was bad, because I think our work, what we're doing, is also inspiring to the users. If we debug an AGA game, if we debug a copper list, this shows people that we solve issues. This motivates them. This helps the customer also to see that we are alive. And I'm not sure that it's good if we again do so much in our own private room here, hidden from the people. Something is very good that we keep private, but I think development, also early stuff which we show, which could also be buggy, should be more shown to the public, to show that we are alive, to make them also feel part of this, my opinion.
Yes, but do you remember why did we create our own channel? Because other people in team channel are talking about other stuff, so we couldn't work, or we couldn't type, we were lost between lines, other people wrote. So we had to move to another channel. We didn't create our channel, core channel, to hide or to talk privately, but to move from all the talk others did who wasn't related to our project.
But there's also the risk that you have, there's always a Professor Klugscheiss who wants to tell you you're doing it wrong, and then you occupy your time defending your ideas, and it's no longer just about you sharing the work you're doing, but defending your ideas. We see this also in the forums a lot. And I can imagine people like Cola is a classic example. He will never be happy, and he can talk more than we can. He can just write more, and you just end up with the focus of everything that Kola and these kinds of people are saying, even though they're
smart guy.
people.
The good thing about the Slack, I think, we control the Slack, right? But we didn't control the IRC. So you couldn't really shut up some idiot like Kola. He could rejoin and blah, 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 talk again, and Tuko could kick him, but he could rejoin a minute later.
Yeah. On the other side, on Slack, you can do that. There is only one administrator, and you can't have many moderators or operators. So it's only one.
Can we, for example, we are talking now for more than 20 minutes about where we will be. Most important thing right now for all of us to be at one place. So if we are moving to Slack, let's move to Slack or something like that. And because it is impossible to work or to share ideas on several places, like I told before.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it is that.
One chance we have today is that if we move to Discord, we have the opportunity to abandon Pisclack.
Okay.
Let's move.
I don't really care if it's Discord or if it's Slack. I see the point that IRC can be run on the Amiga, but that's the only good thing about it. I've had the feeling that Slack has more features than IRC, and that we have much better control who is in it. And I had the feeling that also the people had the feeling that we have much better control. So the people, in my impression, behave much better in Slack.
That's
so
true.
We have not the problems that we had in IRC before.
One question to Pedro, Flipe, and Igor from my side. Would you leave IRC if Simo would join?
Oh yeah, give me Simo. I want Simo. I want Simo back in the team. We should all do something about Simo, and this is more for Gunnar now. Gunnar, you should speak one day with Simo. I know that Simo is already grown up. He have his own ideas, but Simo was and still is one of the best members that this team ever had in testing.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think all the team Simo deserve the respect from all the team.
Yeah.
And I think if we all together speak with Simo or send him an email or call him or whatever and try and bring him back, and so he can also explain his ideas, that could help him bring him back to the team. And we should speak with him.
He would
mainly
like
Gunnar.
Discord? He wants that Discord stuff, or is it the same? He just wants IRC.
He just want to play with the Amigas. So I don't think he cares about Discord or
Slack. Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay, so let's put this to the work item list. Let's bring Simo back.
Very important.
I have talked to him and some time ago, and I think that all of us need have some parts of this project and these conclusions. So we need to define those goals. So we need to say we will work on accelerators after we get standalone to the same level, like Gunnar told me some time ago. For example, some of us likes more accelerators. Some of us wants to see a new Amiga, like standalone. Then we have other options like V5 or V10 or something like that. So we need to define those goals to keep everyone happy, because some of us feel that in some areas work isn't continued like it was before. But again, we're back to that subject when we can't find the time for everything. Flipe, are you there?
No.
No.
He's sleeping.
Some problems with headphone.
Fly.
Yeah, but you're right, Igor. You're right. Well, I would say I'll try to contact Simo. You also could, as Kotta proposed, try to speak to him. And how about we do this meeting regularly now, like once every Monday? Would this be okay?
This is very good idea about this meeting.
Try, yeah.
Alors, il va faire une petite danse.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Sorry about that.
So maybe for this week it won't make sense that we stay in Slack, right? And Stefan, maybe you can make a poll and then we make a team decision. How does that sound?
Between Slack and Discord, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I do that.
Okay. Well.
And maybe someone can give us some reasons for why to change to this Discord. I heard some from people, but that was the only real reason I heard to change. And I think why should change?
Well, technically, Discord is better than Slack. This is true. It's faster. The mobile application are lighter, more enjoyable to use because you go fast. You have an infinite scroll up. You don't have a limitation when you put videos or images. It's a little bit better than Slack. That's true.
And you have also video and audio like we are doing today in Zoom. So we can have a single point of...
Yeah, but Discord is for us, for customer care. We don't need video chats with them, do we?
Yeah. Why not?
And if you have a midget show.
Ah, I see.
Why not? If you want to demonstrate a feature to everybody, you could.
Okay. Okay, so these are good reasons.
So maybe we tell this to the people and we invite them for next week to move.
Maybe we'll poll and then next week decision and then changing or not.
I do the poll. I let Sunday in the poll, so everybody in the team can choose what he wants, and then we decide.
That would be great.
That makes sense.
Can we move on now on another topic?
Yes.
Flight is always hungry. You always have a reason to be hungry, Flight.
Guys, unfortunately, I need to step out. I have to help my girlfriend with a few things.
Bye, Ronnie. Have fun.
Yeah, it was good to see. I think we also honestly
help my girlfriend with a few things.
What do you mean now? What do you mean now?
She
maybe we should try to do
short.
Yeah, we should also give us a time end when we start, right? That we don't.
Yeah.
Everyone has girlfriends, blowjobs waiting, these kind of things.
Leute. I want to play BCK before I go to bed.
See? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Even better than blowjobs.
Do what you want.
Okay, so Igor, do you have something very urgent, Igor, or could this wait till next week?
No, this can't wait. Okay, maybe for the first time we have competition now. And with Gunnar, I talk about that, and he told me to don't look back and to don't look what other people do, just to do what I'm doing. But we need to step up and see that some other people from this warp team in such a short period of time made accelerator and other things. So let's think it about this time last year. They had nothing, and now they have something, and something that can be honest, change our plans because they have new and more features on those accelerators. Yes, they don't have a CPU or such, but we need to admit that they are very quick.
That's true. Yeah.
You're talking about warp.
Yes. They are very quick. They are building drivers faster than us and also designing PCB faster than us and enable more and more features. They will be forever slower than us, but maybe people will choose them over us because other things they offer. So maybe we need to strike back and make something more serious than we did so far. But I don't have an idea of how we can do that. But I'm telling you, for the first time, we have competition. To some point, this is good because it will motivate us more to work harder and maybe better. But
maybe an own OS would be great.
yes,
Heavily using AMX, not running anywhere else.
I think soon Gunnar will assign tasks to the work team.
Yeah, maybe. Also a good idea. We could take them into the boat and they should design a new accelerator couples.
Actually, I think they would be happy.
Igor, what do you say?
What about?
Let's take them into the boat. If you can't beat them,
give me
include
1
them.
second.
You ran away.
One thing I think could be interesting for us is their scan doubler.
Yes.
Do you see this?
No.
We need the parasite.
Better
What
mess.
do you want to do with that?
Nice.
Don't do harakiri now.
So far, yeah.
Guys, I have to leave. I see you. Bye bye. See you next time.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Tuko. With the parasite would be awesome, but we see that individual computers are releasing their new what's their scan doubler called?
MK sheet.
Yeah, they've got Mark III.
But what if we make a prototype about things we talk about with new FPGA and make some screenshots with crazy speed performance?
No. There's no new FPGA and there's new prototype we are working on. Okay, and if there would have been, then that would be a secret project which we cannot talk about. If we show screenshots now of this info with 250 MIPS,
not now.
Kill our own products. Who they will cancel all your V1200 orders.
Yes, I know that. Not now, but I'm talking about something that we can plan for maybe next year or something, because we don't have anything now. We can show that is better. For example, to show that only we can compete with us.
But you have the impression that the orders go down. My impression is that they are rising and rising and rising for the V4 and for the V1200 as well.
Who is rising? I didn't get
the orders of the customers love the vampires and they love the products from the Apollo team, and
yes, right.
give a shit of this warp guys.
Yes, but we have problem. For example, they are doing accelerator now for 4,000 Amiga, and we don't have anything in that area.
Only because we are stupid. Your card would run in the 4,000 if we would be not so lazy. Your card could run. We are just too lazy to make a core.
Yes, right? Yes, maybe, and we don't have a connector for it.
Maybe. No, seriously. I mean, the V1200 card is electrically.
Thank you.
in theory working in the CD32 and in the Amiga 4000.
Yes, yes, it is nearly the same bus we are talking.
Yeah. So, but this is back to who has time and who takes a role here. So if someone with an A4000 being able to compile a core and having a scope would take the job, then it would be probably a day or 2-day job to get the V1200 run in an A4000, which then would put more orders on your V1200 list and put you under more pressure. I think this is why we don't go this route right now. No?
Tell me, can you get 1200 for you? Can you get it?
Yeah, but why?
Because we need to fix few stuff with the core, and we can't do it if you don't have machine.
I can look into this, yeah. But I think the solution that Tuko proposed, that he does the course in the next week, is also a good way to have some progress.
Okay, but what you want from me? Do you want me to work on the core, or just to solder, or I don't know?
I think you have a big backlog of orders, and if you work this off, then you don't need to worry about the warp guys. The warp guys can never sell as many as you could solder in 1 month, in theory.
And your team got this community award at the A34, and you know the people love the vampires and they love the ApolloTeam. In my opinion and in my point of view, and I get so many mails from the customers, and they say, "Oh, can we buy 1200 as well at your place?" And they are so. I mean, they are really fixed on this product. So, in my opinion, we don't have to be worried about it.
Yeah, she's right. You have many fans. Unfortunately, they are all mid-40 guys with belly. But no, I think the Warp is a nice card, but the Warp has also nice features. You're right about this, but they're stuck with the supply of the CPU, so they can never produce 1,000 cards.
And we do not make any advertisement or something. We have nothing, yeah, and it runs, yeah. So if we have a problem selling our cards, we can start thinking about how to make us a bit bigger. But in the moment, our production is too slow. Not we have not the problem to sell our cards.
She's right.
This is not our problem. So.
I didn't talk about selling and about the quantity of the cars, because I'm sure if I could made 1,000 cars right now, I could sell them within a few days. But that wasn't my point. I'm just saying that some other teams, maybe motivated by us, are stepping up. So we will have a competition.
They are professionals too.
Yeah, they are professionals.
The company, yeah.
Yes, it is company, and we don't even have the office. That's why I'm saying, and it is company behind them who are doing other things, and this is only spare job for them. 3D printers and some other stuff they do.
Well, I think I would stop this topic now, because I mean it's good that they do stuff. It's good for the Amiga people. I think our responsibility should be to produce more cards, because as more cards we put out to the people, as more vampire users we have, as stronger our ecosystem becomes, and as more people will likely produce software for us. So I think you can help the project the most by soldering more cards.
Okay. Okay.
I think Flipe wants to say something. Flipe.
Salut, Flipe. Ça va?
Philippe. Bonjour, monsieur.
Are we ended the meeting now?
I think we could say good night, guys.
Yeah. And let's do this next week, but on Discord, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So group hug, everyone.
Ah, I get naked now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
You're laughing, but I'm not joking. Let's do
Yes.
it.
I'm starting to be afraid from you, Ronnie.
Someone is
Okay, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. For me
We'll
too.
see what time I go.
Yeah, it would be great to see you all next week again.
Bye.
Oh, this next one.
Good night, boys.
Ciao,
Bye, guys.
John.
Bye, bye.
Night, John boy.
I guess you hear me now?
Ah putain, c'était le moment, franchement.
Sérieux, putain, ça m'énerve.
1h30 pour brancher un micro, mec.
Non.
Si.
How can I stop this? Bye, Fly.
So it's the end.